Yeah, here we are again, Outliers. How's it going, Dave?
It's going fantastic, Joe. How about yourself?
Oh, awesome, awesome, yeah, awesome. We're knee deep in Plan M here as Outliers, and so we've seen some portfolio activity, and I'm excited, Dave, to find out how you roll trades with Thinkorswim, and also any tidbits you can give us on charting those trades. And I
Yeah,
think maybe I'm hearing around the water cooler, we might even get a little sneak peek into some new features.
just a little sneak peek. It's coming and
That's
it's
awesome.
cool. Everybody's going to love it. So,
Fantastic. Well, as we usually do here, we're going to start out by showing where you get the indicators. And so let me do a quick screen share here. It's great to see everybody. And I noticed there's some folks who have put hashtag Q in the chat, which is very, very helpful for us. If you have questions,
love it.
put hashtag Q in the chat because that helps us find your questions. So, okay. If you're new to this series, you're going to need to know how to get the Thinkorswim indicators that Dave has created. And what you're going to want to do is go to Outlier Discord, and then you're going to want to go to FAQ and member contributions, and then drop over to the Thinkorswim channel here. And then you're going to find that there's lots of great information here. This is always kept up to date with the latest indicator here. You can get it right there. So definitely, check that out. And also, if you have never checked out the Outlier Training with Joe channel, you're going to want to definitely do that, because that is where you're going to find the previous Thinkorswim training videos. So let's pop that over here so you can see it. You just go to Outlier Training with Joe on YouTube, pop over to playlists, and then look for Outlier Training.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we look for Dave and I in a thumbnail, we're going to get a series of videos here. They're all ordered in sequence, session 1, session 2, 3, 4. And also what the topic is typically is kind of hinted at in the names, right? And then once you go inside those videos, you're gonna be able to look at the description.
Those guys look familiar.
There we go. If you go into the description, you'll be able to see what we talk about. And if you wanted to fast forward, which some of us do, you can just click the link next to the topic that you're interested in looking into. So, Dave, we got through how to get the indicator and how to get the training. Now, let's have a look, Dave, at how you roll trades. Are you ready?
Let's do this. This is going to be fun because honestly, rolling is great. We get to take risk off. We get to get some money in our pockets. I love rolling options. It's really, Chris keeps saying it's a ninja hack, but I got to tell you, it is the greatest feeling in the world when you can take a trade and you have to roll it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That is awesome. That's exactly what we want as outliers.
I totally agree. And Dave, I was recently interviewed by Chris as part of the 2026 USIC challenge. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned to him that I'm addicted to rolling. I look forward to it. And when it happens, it feels like I'm on top of the world. Because just as you said, I get to take risk off the table. So if this thing goes against me, it's going to hurt less. And also, the money I took off the table is now able to be put into another trade. Like it's genius.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Just as Chris did a couple of days ago. He was able to roll a few positions and add a whole new one on based on that rolling. I mean, it's exactly what you want to do. So this is a skill everybody needs to have. And thankfully, we're going to have a few opportunities here to roll in my paper account. So that's the good news.
Paper. Okay, let's talk about that, Dave. Yes. Now, I believe that paper is a great way to learn, and it's an opportunity to learn for free. And you're going to show us that Thinkorswim gives you the ability to access paper trades, again, for no cost, and it's the same prices you would see if you were putting in actual money. So if you make a mistake in paper trading, it doesn't matter. It's just a learning opportunity. So I'm glad to hear that you also take advantage of paper trading, and I hope everyone else does as well.
I got to tell you, I use paper trading to go in and test new strategies live, because paper trading is a simulated environment as far as the dollars, but it is the live environment in the market. So you don't get to, like, on demand in Thinkorswim. Yeah, you can kind of see the future. I can go play in there. If I need to show something quick, I can jump in. I can go buy Nvidia when it was $30 or Tesla when it was $30 and sell it today and make a profit. No, on demand gives you the live, real market. You're just not playing with your dollars. And that's really critical, because all of the features are there in on demand, about 99%. There's still a few little glitches here and there, because of course they put the emphasis in the live environment. But to say, you know, with that said, test in paper, go in, log in. I am in there regularly and just entering trades to test different things without risking my money.
Yep, exactly. That's key. And it could even be as simple as, look, you open a new broker, or you're trying a new update to the software and you're not familiar with it. Well, using paper trading will get you familiar with the buttons and where things are. I'll tell you what, if you want to see me make a mistake live, go look at the Alpha University videos. Let me show you right where those are here, so you don't have to go and guess. And you would see me make a bonehead move here. Let me remove you, Dave, add myself.
Yep.
If you go over to Outlier Trading with Joe and go to the Alpha University playlist right here.
Yep.
You would see, like I said, I'm asked by Chris to make a trade. I'm essentially going to buy an options contract, and I've never done it. Like, I was definitely afraid of options contract going into university, actually. You get to see me click the sell button, and you know that we do not sell options as professional traders. I click sell, and Chris is like, okay, this is a learning exercise. But I was in paper. I was in paper. It was completely free to make that mistake, and now I know.
Exactly. And that's where it's important. You know, Thinkorswim rolls out new features all the time. So it's great to be able to go in and test those features. How many know about the walking feature when you buy an option?
I want to hear about that, Dave. If we have time today, I would love to hear about that.
We will definitely do that, because we're going to go buy something in paper here as well today. But if you're ready, let's jump in and we'll roll some stuff.
I'm into it. It makes sure you're sharing the right screen. It looks like you're looking at both of us. There we go.
I am. Yeah. Sorry about that. I moved it around so I'm not looking up at you.
I was doing that the other day in live, and somebody said it looked like the Brady Bunch intro.
Down. I know. Look at your camera. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why we have such a great community. People get me laughing in the chat all the time, Dave.
We really do. It really is an amazing community, and you know, I'm very thankful to be one of the early members of it. So.
Yeah, you're one of those lucky people that got a lifetime subscription, if I'm not mistaken.
I am one of those lucky people who got the lifetime subscription. That was the best money I have ever spent. And I have made that initial investment 10,000 times over. It was awesome.
I'm jealous, man.
So, hey, we've got my screen up now. Let's get the audience interacting here. Let's do the third person who enters in a ticker for us to roll. Somebody take a look at my screen and find something you want to roll here. We have profit loss since open in this column and profit loss for the day here. Let's see if somebody can pick something out. We got Applied Digital, BK, Fly, Google, iBit, Intel, J&J, which we're not doing. It's under Coke, Lunar. I see 2 for Intel. So let's just go with that. We got 2 people for Intel. So we're going to roll Intel here. So Intel, and just so everybody has a little bit of background, I went through, and this is kind of sad and on one sense, but I went through and I created all of these trades 10 days ago when Joe and I first talked about doing this rolling class, because I thought, my goodness, the market sucks. We're going to have to find a bunch of things, and hopefully something will be in profit. So from my list here, you can see I literally shotgunned 10, 12 different equities into here, just solely hoping we would get something that would, be positive for us. That's why we have, safe harbors like Johnson and Johnson and Coke, and then I've got Google, and then I've got some more speculative ones. I was hoping one of them would come around, and boy, did we ever. Look at that. 10 days paper trading. If I had taken these trades for real, this is life-changing, masters of the universe level money right here. And all I did is just let them cook off for 10 days, and this is where we're at now. So, but let's go and roll Intel.
What size account did you start with 10 days ago, Dave? Do you remember?
What's that?
What size account did you start with 10 days ago?
10 days ago, it was about a $400,000 account.
Okay.
Give or take maybe three. Well, we're at 153,000 now, so about 375, give or take.
Nice. That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's what many of us are trading. Mm-hmm. I will say this is not what my actual account size is, but it's not too far off either. Mm-hmm. But the position sizing, more importantly, is what I use in my own account. So when I went in and did this, I would have bought 25 calls for Intel. So let's look at this. So we have the usual option data. So, I bought, they're expiring on the 15th of May. It's the 43 call. And now, my goodness, it's trading $67 right now. 29 days to expiration. I bought them for $9.55. It's now at $24.70. I think that's pretty darn good. My PNL over here is 158% on this trade, and we're at $37,000. So the easiest way, we're going to right click on this, and we're going to create a rolling order. So we're going to buy a calendar. Now, this is the way Thinkorswim does this. So this is something to pay attention to because you don't always want a calendar, but we're going to buy the calendar because that's the choice that it gives us. Now, Intel is the May 15th call. You'll see here, Thinkorswim defaults, and it says it thinks we want to roll in time, not in dollars, not in the strike. So the very first thing we want to do is go in and change this to May 15th. Okay, so now I'm dealing same day. But we need to figure out here, let me see, where's my trade grid here? Come on. Here we go. We're going to close that down, and we're going to scroll down here, and we're going to go find, we want May 15th. And you can see it gave me a little position icon here. It's telling me you've got a position in that string right there. So we're going to scroll down here, and we're going to find something that looks good. So right now, we're at basically a 100 delta, a 99 delta on this option. We are 100% in the money right now. But let's roll. We want to come down here to an 80. So that's going to be the 57.5 strike. Now, when I look at this, I want to see open interest, which we can see right here. It's open. We got the open interest. It's 2,500. That's great. But maybe, let's go to the 75. There's actually more interest down here. So we come down here. It's the $60 one. I'm going to change this now to the $60 strike. So we have now changed this $17 in range. So we're on the same date. We're now at the 60 strike, and I am getting a 14.55 credit back. So 14.55 credit on 25 contracts. I just got my handy calculator out here. Times 25 is going to be $36,375 off the table.
Wow.
That's the risk. That's the risk we're getting out. But let's look at the position here. Okay. I bought this for $9.55. Mm-hmm. But I'm getting $14.57 back in a credit. I am now in this trade with $5 guaranteed profit if Intel files bankruptcy tomorrow and goes to zero.
Right.
I mean, talk about a hack.
That is a hack. Now, there's one other thing I do, Dave, and I'd like to hear from you. Do you think this gives any value? You see under spread in red where it says diagonal?
Yes, I do.
I force that to be vertical just in case.
You can do that
in case I screwed up. If I accidentally picked the wrong date, I want it to tell me that I picked the wrong date.
You absolutely can. You can absolutely force it to vertical, and it is going to automatically change both your dates though. So that's something you got to be careful of, is we want to make sure that the date is correct. And this is just something in Thinkorswim you just have to be real careful about. There's a lot of people, and we hear about it in the chat all the time. Well, I rolled my option, but I didn't get any money back. Well, that's because they rolled it to the next option, the next expiration, instead of going to just the next strike. So this is something you just have to be very cognizant of when you roll. Make sure you've got the right expiration. And there will be a time, quite frankly, when you're in a trade for a long time where, yeah, you're going to want to change that expiration. If this thing was down around the, to me, the 2-week mark, if I was getting down to 2 weeks, I'm going to start thinking about going out another month. So I may, invest a little bit of money, change things around. It may be a slight debit for me to roll to that next month or close and open that new position. But that's the only time I'm going to be looking at rolling for date. Other than that, I really just want to roll for the strike. As long as I've got time on my side, and to me, my style of trading, that's 2 weeks. That's what I'm looking for. So we've got the 14, it's now 1452 credit. It's floating around a little bit. It does that. But we're going to hit confirm and send. Now, max profit, I'm about to pull $36,000 off the table. Now, look at this. The max loss that we have in this trade now, if this thing just goes to zero, I can only lose $6,200 in this trade, but I just pulled off $36,000 in profit. So we're looking really solid in this.
That's
but
awesome.
You're always going to get this confirmation. So when you're doing this, you can click confirm and send, and it will give you just another quick rundown and say, hey, this is what you're doing. This is the order. This is what the profit is potentially. This is what your potential loss is going to be. You've got one more chance to double check everything before you hit send. And I'm going to back up. And to change that, by the way, just click edit. Now, if you want to save it for later, you can click save, and it will show up in your saved orders. I will occasionally do that on things when I know I'm going to have to be out driving around. So I'll set my sell order up, at 10 a.m. when I know I'm going to get ready to sell, closer to the end of the day, but I don't want to do it quite yet. You can do that a little bit, but those are the choices that we're given. Now, if you trade in multiple accounts as well, say you're buying something, you can go in and change what account you're trading it in, just to make that final thing. And then now you have a choice. You can actually, this is a new feature in Thinkorswim, you can actually balance this between multiple accounts. So I could say I want 10 here and 15 in the other account if I wanted. I don't do that. I trade solely in one account at a time, and each account has its own separate purpose to me, but that's something you can do.
Dave, that's cool, because I have multiple accounts, different retirement accounts and such. Yep. And so I have to do, click what I want to do, click buy, do all that stuff over and over again. So I think I'm going to do some paper trading against that multiple account piece. Yep. And see how that works.
And as you can see here, I've got, my 2 fake accounts. I've got a margin and an IRA account. And you can see it just went through and set this. So now I can change, what distribution I want in each account and figure out how I want that to really go.
Wow.
So it's kind of a cool way to look at it. But we're not going to mess with that. We're only going to mess with this. We're going to roll this thing now. And look at that. We're back up to 1455. So let's roll it here. And it's paper trading. It may take a minute for this to clear, but you see, I went from the trade screen where we were filling everything out back over to monitor, and it's working right now. So the mark is 1455. We have, and there it went. Our price was 1455, and then we've got this sold. Actually, it looks like it sold at 1470. So we actually got an even better fill on it than we had intended. Now,
price improvement, right?
Where did it go? We got to talk about logging next, because we did something. So here is where that order is. And I bought a futures contract a little while ago, which is actually up $500 right now. But this is the order we just did. So I just closed my original, and here's the price. So when we look at our logs in how we go through and do this, when we journal our trade, here is my sale. And then here is my purchase. So on my way of doing it, I go through, first of all, I do a straight Excel spreadsheet for the math. This is just profit loss. I need to know I came in, I left, and what rules, because I have a quick checklist, what rules I was doing. And then I go to, my own journal and I document what were my thoughts, what worked, what didn't, more of the emotional side of trading. But this is how we go in and we get that extra data really quick. Now, this will only stay on there for the trading day. So if you don't catch it here, you have to log into your Schwab account to get that information. But let's go walk through and do another one now. So let's do the SPY. That's the next biggest one. So we're going to do this, and I'll move a little quicker this time. We're going to do the calendar again, because that's the only choice it gives us. We're going to, and I like Joe's idea. Actually, it's not even going to give me that choice, Joe. We're going to come back over. We're going to drop it into May 15th. We have to figure out which one makes sense. So we're going to have to scroll down a bunch because it's way up there now. And I apologize, the screens right now that we're using, your screen will be much bigger and have more data than mine can display. We've actually got to enlarge mine quite a bit so it comes out clean on the live stream. But this spike trade, it's at a 93% right now. So let's come down and let's find ourselves a nice number, 80-ish, 670. I'll tell you, if you haven't noticed, whole dollar amounts like 670, 675 are always going to have more volume and more open interest than the intervening minor amounts. So when you look at this, take a look. So I actually kind of like, although 673's got a bunch, but here is 675 at a 78 delta. So let's go ahead and change this now to 675.
Now, Dave, I'm assuming that you're not recommending anyone buy these, because I didn't see you look at charts. I didn't see you lock at trends.
No. Yeah, no, we need to be very clear. We are only talking about rolling here.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. And something happened here. We're going to restart this, come back in here and do this again. Something happened, and I'm not going to sort it out. Yep. Create a rolling order. I want my calendar. There we go. I want May 15th, and I said the 675. So we're going to find our 675 here. Now we have a $50 wide gap, and we're able to pull 45.89 out of this trade. So again, we're looking really, really good here. The position, the trade price, by the way, again, this is another one that's over 100% profit. We only paid $43.95 for this, so we're pulling a lot of money off the table. But same way, I made sure my date was square. I picked my new strike that I want to land on. We still have 29 days to go in this particular trade, so we're good. We're going to click confirm and send, and we're going to send it out. And then we come back up to the monitor tab to make sure everything's working. And it's actually, this will feel better. It actually, when I hit send, it was at 46.12. It just finished, and it's closed at 46.16. So we did a little bit better overall there. And then you can come in here and you can see again for your journaling, we sold it at a $79 price tag. We bought the new one at 33, and the net credit between these two numbers was $46 in credit.
Very
Can't
cool. That
cannot beat that at all.
That seems pretty straightforward, but I don't know if you've ever seen, Dave, that there's a meme that floats around the internet, and it's Dave Chappelle, and he kind of looks like a druggie, and he's like scratching at his arm, right? That's me here waiting for you to show me how to walk in a trade.
Yeah. Yeah. Now Dave Chappelle probably is. I won't say that. We're recording. I won't put my opinion into this, but yeah, this is and this is really good, everybody. And truly, go into paper trading, throw a bunch of trades on, come back in a few days, and roll the ones you can. Here's Google. And I am in a live trade right now on Google, and I have rolled it twice in the last few days. But, here's another great example. So May 15th and Google, we're at 94 on this right now. So we'll drop down. I'll probably hit the 310. It's actually the strike I think I'm in on my live trade. 310, $36 credit. You can't beat it. And again, confirm, send it. Just that easy. Risk off the table, money in your pocket. This is the way you want to do it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Now, if I was closing a trade, let's just close Johnson & Johnson, because obviously it has broken every single rule we would have had in the book. Same deal. I'm just going to right click on that trade. I'm going to come down. I'm going to adjust this. This is where I'm actually going to play with this number. Okay. You have the natural price, and then you have the midpoint. Natural is on the lower end. Obviously, I don't want to sell for that at all. I want at least mid. So we're going to kick that up. We'll dump that trade, clear it off the books. So Thinkorswim is pretty straightforward. Everything you've got for this monitor, the activity and positions, you can go in and right click, and you can do quite a bit of things here. You can close, you can analyze what it looks like if you close it. You can analyze what the rolling trade looks like. You can just add, you want to add some more, you can add some more. But there's a lot of choices here that everybody should get in and explore. Now, there was a stock today that came up in the chat, and I will say right now, I have not analyzed this in any way, shape, or form. So this is not financial advice. Don't take anything I say here as a recommendation. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't take the trade. But MGNI. And we're going to go in and take this in paper trading so that we can go through and do some charting real quick. Okay. So this is MGNI. It's Magnite. I'm not even sure what they do, but this was something that came up in the Discord earlier. Now, this is, of course, the super trend indicator that we have for Thinkorswim. Now, we got a big, ugly red order block right here. I don't like that order block. This right here would tell me I would not take this trade at all. 1367 to, it's only 22 cents away. This is not a trade I would take. But unless somebody has another ticker, I'll throw that out there. If there's another ticker, we can go in and analyze that a little bit. But we'll go ahead and we'll put in a trade on this one real quick and see what makes sense.
What do you think of VST? Does that one look good on your screener?
VST. So Vistra. Nope.
Nope.
Looks just as ugly. Just as ugly. Rocket Lab was, no pun intended, taking off this morning. So this one, let's do this, because we have basically from $80 to $86. So we got a $6 run here at least. And actually, if I come down to my little tool here, my trend line, I can draw a trend line from here to here and say it's $6 or 7.38% above us. So it's close. It's not quite the 10%, but let's do Rocket Lab instead. Now, Rocket Lab in this account right now, that is what I have it set for, it says I can do 3 contracts or 247 shares. So we're going to come up here to trade. We're going to punch in Rocket Lab. And now we're going to come down here. Oh, I guess I have a Rocket Lab position. Yeah, apparently I have one. So we're going to come down here. Instead of the May, well, let's just do May 22nd. We're going to separate it off by a little bit here. So looking at the May 22nd, actually, I don't even see anything good there. Do you, Joe? I got open interest is way below what we need it to be for that weekly.
We had a couple of suggestions from the audience, SoFi,
let's do that.
PGC.
Let's go do that. Let's take a look at PGC. So PGC is having a down day today. This is one I personally would not take for my rules. I don't ever enter a trade on a red candle. Just one of my rules. So, at that point, it's not one I would take. Yes, it had a high of 39.57 yesterday, but there's something happening here that, just doesn't work well with mine.
So Dave, if I using my plan have decided that I'm going to trade PGC, and I go in the morning and I see this thing's trending the wrong direction on a 5-minute candle, I'll wait until the afternoon, because I'm still going to trade my plan, but I'm going to wait for that trend to hopefully go in my favor by the afternoon. So if I was interested in PGC because my plan told me to, and I saw that red candle, I would just wait until the afternoon personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, when I look at the 5-minute chart, which I just brought up, it's fighting. It's trying to do something down here. It's not continuing to drop like some of the others. So it is definitely trying to fight and maybe come up. But yeah, we had a crossover right at the close yesterday on the 10, 20, 50 EMAs. And so something was happening right there on the crossover. So I'd want to see a crossover and see it moving back up before I would consider anything. Now, on the super trend script, this is important. See this great big ugly label that popped up? The super trend is only intended for daily charts. So I built in a quick warning, and it disables all of the other position sizing EMAs, the ATRs, everything, so that you don't inadvertently use it on the wrong time frame. So that was something that we did in the initial version just to help everybody out. And you see,
great job,
back to the
Dave.
daily, we got it all back.
That's awesome.
So we got sats in here as well. Let's find a good one. So sats. So this is a red candle. However, when I look in the totality of it, I would argue it is, but it isn't. This is one of those I'd sure watch for the end of the day. There's something here that may be really beneficial if it meets your rules. So let's trade sats real quick. I think that's a good one to start with. So we're going to trade sats. We're going to go to the May 15th, and let's see what we got. So we've got the 80 delta, and I don't like the width on that. They're all a little wide right now for my tastes, but we'll go ahead and we'll take one of them. Now, if I have to choose here, and again, this is me personally, my rules, I would take the 72 delta. I would take the 120. And I say that because of the open interest. We've got, roughly 6 times the open interest right now on the 72 that we do on the 80 delta. So I personally would take this one. So we click buy. Oops, we got to back up, figure out what our position sizing is. It says I can only do 2 contracts. So let's just do 2.
Wait a minute, Dave. You're telling me your indicator will tell what position size is recommended?
Yes,
wow.
It will.
And
in this case, I have this set right now to a default of a $100,000 account with a 2.5% risk. And it's saying just take 2 contracts. So if that's your account size and that's your risk comfort level, it will calculate it for you.
Now,
so
if
we can take 2 contracts.
If you're a newer viewer and you do not know how to figure out what your position sizing should be, let me steal the screen real quick, Dave, because this is a super common question. If you want to figure out what you're comfortable with in terms of position sizing, go to Outlier Training with Joe, hop down to the Bravo University playlist, and it'll open a video, which it's not supposed to do. Let's go back. Viewable. There you go. This is the playlist that you want to watch, and you're going to find a couple of things. First thing is you're going to find out who this guy is, because he is a student and graduate of Bravo University. Mm-hmm. But you're also going to learn how to position size based on math. And I'm looking through the video titles to find out which one it is. But anyways, it's one of these, and I'll put it in chat which one it is once Dave is talking again. But watch this whole series, and specifically watch and learn about the Kelly Criterion, because it'll help you try to figure out what you're comfortable with in terms of your risk management.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone, and I forget who it even was, could have been Chris or somebody else in the chat. If you can't sleep at night, your risk percentage is probably wrong.
Yeah.
It's probably not in alignment with what you need. But here we are. We got sats. I've gone through, I've selected the strike that I wanted, the 120 strike. And you'll see in this case, it defaulted to 10. I actually want to set it at 2. This is a custom setting you can change inside of Thinkorswim. So if you find yourself trading in increments of 2 or 1, you can go in and change this just so you don't inadvertently put in an order at 5 times what it's recommended to be. So you can go through and tweak that in settings. Now, we have our mid price, we have our natural price, which is basically the ask price. This is the full price for this particular option. We don't want that. We want the mid range, or maybe I want a little less. I can dial it down even more if I want and just see if maybe it hits. For the interest of time on this, we're just going to hit it at the mid price. So I'm buying 2 at 16.45. We're going to send it. And again, my max profit in this case is infinite. It could go up forever. But my max loss is risk defined for what I'm paying for those contracts. So my max loss is only $32.90 plus your commission fees. So based on that, let's send it. We're going to come back up to the monitor tab. We have 2 working orders. Oh, I guess the Google order hasn't filled quite yet. And this may take a moment. We're right at the mark price, and eventually it'll go through. If not, let's say it's not taking it that. Let's change it. So I right-clicked on that. I clicked edit or change order, and we're going to bump it to 16.50 now. Let's try to get a fill at that point. Oh, we just filled it. Well, that's interesting. We filled at 15.90. Now, let's talk about that. We just filled, what was it? We just filled 55 cents under where the limit order was set at, because Thinkorswim Schwab always tries to get you the best price. Someone on the paper side just made a mistake and clicked market order. Someone typoed a dollar amount. So we are on Sats, we are instantly in profit. You know, I said it was 55 cents, 2 contracts. We're instantly in profit for $110 because someone else made a mistake. Now, that is why you always, always validate, triple check. That's why it has the confirm and send button. Always make sure. I have had that happen to me on the good side, and I've made the mistake on the bad side. Joe knows all about that. I think I yelled, I think I called, just upset at myself the day I did it.
Yeah.
And
some of us even do it live on YouTube.
Some of us even do it live on YouTube. I know. But it's something to pay attention to. So you can get fills at dollar amounts that are not what you put in. That limit order is a maximum, but if Thinkorswim, if Schwab can get you a better deal, they're going to dump you into that better deal. So I do see little, a penny or 2 changes here. We saw one earlier. I'm going to edit the roll right now for Google though. So we're going to cancel and replace it. We're going to go to the midpoint again. Let's go a little less. Let's go 3602. I want this filled. And confirm and send. We're going to send that. And we have that in there right now. It's now updated and it's filled. So we did that just to get everything filled. Now, let's go to Sats real quick because we're in this now. And now we need to go through and log in what we did. So we're going to come down here to the low right corner and do the drawing tools. I am going to click the dollar amount. And I am just going to draw a line, okay? And I'm not paying attention as much to where the line is, but this is our purchase. And our purchase, I'm going to grab the current price right now, 36, and let's make it pretty green. So there is our purchase price on this. Now, we need to get a 2 ATR in here. So or minus 2 ATR. So I'm just coming in, I'm going beneath it. I'm going to put a label, minus 2 ATR. And now I'm going to grab the value. Once that goes away, I'm going to grab the value from right here up above at 116.96. It had just changed, but we can just say 117.02 now. And there it is. There's my 2 ATR. And now I'm going to come up here, or my minus 2 ATR. Now I'm going to come up here. I'm going to put a 2 ATR. My 2 ATR is 145.84. And I'm going to make that, because it's in that color, I'm going to make it blue. So now, just that quick, I was able to go through and draw the lines, just quickly entering the price that is showing up on top of my screen as part of that indicator. And now I have my labels to monitor the trade. I could put in a 1 ATR or a half ATR if that's in your rules. I personally don't do that. Personally, I prefer to roll when I hit a delta number. That's just my style of trading. But there's nothing wrong with doing that. So that's a quick, easy way to chart your trade. Now, let's look at some other tools down here. So we have a trend line. So I can come in and I can draw a trend line here. And we're just going to pick up the wicks on the bottom end. So now I have a trend line. We're going to edit this. We'll make it green and let's make it dashed. So now I have a trend line. So now I can look at this and say, is it following the trend anymore? Or did it break down in the trend? Some people use that, and it's a great way to look at different things to say, am I still going up? But let's zoom out a little more, because what I see here is kind of a channel. So we're going to, let's remove our trend line. Now let's try to put a channel in. So we have a channel right here. Very simple. The channel, I'm going to do red this time on the lower end, and you'll see why. So there's one. I clicked the button, and now I have a second line instantly appear that is perfectly parallel to my other line. Edit, and let's make the colors green, green. And now I can add in, say I want a midpoint. I want to put a green, and I want to make the midpoint green and dashed. Or I could put in a quarter point or a 3/4 point in this. You have a lot of options. So now I have a trend line that has appeared on the chart. And let's turn some things off. Will give us a little bit better visibility. Now we have a trend line. Now, if I were to extend this line down here, you can see it probably picks up pretty good on this wick, on this top line. It actually would probably come all the way down to about here, give or take. So right now we can say that the price is in a channel. If that's part of your style and your trading, and you can see, is it in that same channel, just kind of going up and working? You can do that. But let's say I want to write some stuff on here. So I click the T, and now I have text. Entered trade on 4/16. Fear and greed, oh, I don't know. We'll make up a number. Let's say it's 65. So now I have text on my chart. And once I edit it, once I enter it, I can go in and edit it. I can turn a text arrow off. I can make it, prettier as far as how I want the alignment to be. You can change the color, so we can make it, we can make it white or gray. We can change, a lot of different things on this. But now I have a note on my chart. Now, I've been asked, is there a tool like Tradingview has for Thinkorswim, where we can just click a button and all of this will magically appear? Yes and no. There is the ability to create a tool for this. However, it ties to the chart, not the ticker. So if I come in here now and I run Google, you'll notice all of my lines disappeared. They're gone. Because what we just did is tied to the ticker symbol. So when you tie it to the ticker symbol, you can go between multiple different charts, multiple different things. You only have to set this once. So you can have a different, like I have a monitoring screen. So once I enter everything in, I jump up to my monitoring screen, and then I can just look at it during the day and say, yep, we're still good. I don't have to go back and forth. This is something that really helps. With that tool, and I've created one, I've played with it, it anchors to the chart itself, the window, not to the ticker. everything that we need right now is tied. It has to be tied to the ticker. So unfortunately, it just doesn't work the way we want. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, we do have. How do you get the P&L figures in red and green?
Okay, I'm going to show you because I had to go through and figure this out myself this morning. Let me see here. So I am in the setup. It's not under look and feel. That would be too easy. It is right here. It's under display and show color price ticks for the position statement and the account statement. So you're going to go to setup, application settings, display, and you're going to click these two right here. And it's something that I run my main screen. I've had this setting for years and years on my main screen, but when I brought paper view up this morning, paper trading, it wasn't there. So I actually had to figure it out myself this morning. So that's a quick, easy one. Now, let's go back. How do we get the T? Down here in your lower right corner, this right here, and it's set up right now for the T. I can change it to an arrow. I can change it to a finger. I can change it to, different things. This right here, right next to drawing set, will give you the different tools that are available. There's a lot of good tools. You can draw, you can draw boxes. You can draw, all sorts of different shapes that may help you analyze things. There is Fibonacci. So we can come in and we can do a Fibonacci retracement and see, what's happening with Fibonacci. There's a lot of different tools available to you. I would encourage everybody to go through and really explore the tools. I will tell you the only ones I use the trend line, I use the price line, I use the text note, channel, and a rectangle. That's it. I don't use any of the other ones for my style of trading. It just doesn't do anything for me. But you can come in and say, hey, I want to put guess it was the arrow I wanted. You can put in an arrow here. Come on. Oh, see, now it's not going to do it for me. Oh, wrong arrow. You can come in and put an arrow and say, maybe I bought here today. We're going to edit this. We're going to make this arrow. Let's make it yellow. Let's make it point up, and let's make it extra large. So now I have a simple arrow on my chart. So if I wanted to say, okay, I enter in when I buy, I enter a green arrow and I exit on a red arrow. It's just different ways of marking your chart up for your own needs. But there's a lot of tools available. I encourage everybody to really look at them, but trend line, price line, the channel, the rectangle, the text, those are the big ones for me.
All right, Dave, our next question is there a specific thread in Discord for Thinkorswim? So I'm going to share my screen here. Now, I just looked through here to see if there was one, and I didn't see one. However, that doesn't mean one doesn't exist. So I clicked on Browse Channels to see if maybe it was just simply hidden, and then I typed in the word Think. And that told me that there is a channel that I was not subscribed to called Thinkorswim Scripts. So all I have to do is click this box right here, and it's going to show up in the bottom of my screen. Let me pop down to the bottom Joe, here, and you're gonna see it.
Let's make sure, because I think that may actually be the old one.
Okay.
Because I thought Deep put everything under we actually have it. Yeah, we do. We have a tab under the FAQ and member contributions now. That's where he wanted to go through and aggregate a bunch of the scripts together. So actually, member contributions and then Thinkorswim is where we have that at this point. But it looks like we have a lot of the scripts in the other ones still.
Oh, okay. So maybe you don't want to subscribe to that one, like I showed you.
Don't subscribe to that quite yet, because I'm going to be putting everything into the FAQ on the Thinkorswim under the FAQ section for everybody. That's
okay, where and that's right here that you can see on my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
Do we want to see a secret?
Yeah, show us the secret.
Okay, let's find something. Let's go to something we're trading. Now, this is the brand new 3 point whatever. I think I'm going to call it, I may probably be calling it 4.0 order block. This will be integrated into the super indicator. And I'm hoping to have it done this weekend. I got one final push on coding, but we have some enhancements here that I want to talk about. So as we kind of zoom in and out here, you'll see we have support order blocks and they label. Okay, and this is important because of how we have to look at this. The order blocks now slide into slots, and you have 3 slots available. So there's a order block 1, 2, 3 for support and 1, 2, 3 for resistance. But now we're able to calculate based on the volume that was traded here and the pressure that was here. We're able to calculate an approximate, and this is approximate, how much is remaining in that order block. So when we look at Google right now, Google's order block that it's sitting in, I wish it would stop doing that. Google's order block that it's sitting in, actually, let's fix that real quick. Come on. There we go. Google's order block that it's sitting in is 90% still there. So when we look at it, we want to say, how many shares are there? What do we have to absorb? So we can go in and we can change I have to look around my camera here. We can change it to shares. So we can say right now there are basically 178 million shares remaining in this order block. Google's going to have to eat a bunch to get through that order block. But there's also 180 million remaining on the support side. So there is support down here. But now we can see distances, because you can see that support order block is right now about $48 underneath the current price. And right now, the resistance order block is 0 because we're stuck in the middle of it. And we just got to wait and see. This may be some rejection that's happening here. Now, let's see the difference. Let's come into here, and we are going to show the order blocks. Yep, apply. So here is the order blocks. Let me make sure. Yep. Here's the order blocks for version for the super trend indicator. So it's picking up on both of those order blocks still reasonably well. But now we've got the additional data to know how deep it is and what's really happening in those order blocks. We also can choose how do we want this to calculate. Do we want it based on what is going to be more than likely institutional buying pressure? In which case, look at Google now. Institution is selling. There is no support anymore. It was picking up retail down here for support. So we've set it up in such a way that you've got a different approach to things and different way to look at it. So when we look at structural, this is what retail is doing. So we've got an order block sitting here still, and you can see in this case, we have 1, 2, 3. Each time a new order block is created, that new order block drops down. So this 1 comes to here. This is now new 2. 2 comes to here. This is now new 3. So it starts to get a little bit cluttered, but this is how we have to do this to then calculate basically the buckets and how much money we have sitting, how many shares we have sitting in each one. Blended works best. You can also then choose, for the same thing here, you can choose volume absorption. So when we're looking at the order blocks and how much we're eating, I care about volume. I don't care about touch, that the price went through it. The price could go through something like happens in the overnights quite a bit. It may jump over an order block, but the order block is still there. So when you use the blended approach, it's saying, hey, look, number 1, it's got to touch it. Number 2, it's got to absorb that. So we have a blended approach to things. We also built in ATR model. So now I can see, hey, to get to this support, we have to go down -6 ATRs to get to that support. So when we start talking about ATR levels, man, that's a long ways away. Do I really want to ride 6 ATRs down hoping this catches? So it's something that I've tried to make it a lot more dynamic overall and look at things in a little different way. I do have it labeling the order blocks. Of course, we can, show the labels up on top. We can turn them off, but I wanted some flexibility. I'm going to say don't mess with any of the settings in here at all, but I'm going to leave them there for people to play with if they want. But this is kind of a different way of looking at order blocks. We're calculating on the body. We're calculating based on where the most activity is happening during the day. That's the institutional approach. The retail grabs the wicks and says, hey, the activity was here the whole time. But this is going to be, I think, a significant evolution forward. So
yeah. Now, Dave, you gave a lot of opportunities there to pick a view of order blocks to test out. Now, since there's so many different options there, it sounds like it could be a bit confusing as to which one you go with. So what I would say is you're going to want to paper trade the different options, and then you're going to want to back test, and you're going to want to see what works best for your plan. And that brings up a good point here. Some order blocks will show up in different places depending on what your criteria are or what your tool is. And one of the things I want to show you is you don't see Chris using order blocks inside Ovrlyr. And that's because his plan was back tested against order blocks in Tradingview. So what you typically may consider doing is simply turning off order blocks inside Ovrlyr just by clicking the disable. And all I did was click this icon right here, and then I clicked order blocks, and then I clicked disable. Now the advantage is I don't have noise, I don't have conflicting information, and I can trade my plan based on the signals that I want to look at, right? And so take that as a learning opportunity that there's a lot of different indicators out there, and there's a lot of data behind indicators, and there's math behind those indicators, right? You have to pick the signal that you can backtest against and shows a high expectancy and shows a likelihood to make profit. Because I see a lot of questions in here about, well, I don't see an order block in this tool or that tool or what have you. You have to pick one. You have to run with it, and you have to test it and see what is going to give you the highest likelihood of success.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to show here real quick, because somebody asked me to show Apple. So this is Apple, and this is a great example pointing out something, and this is a failure in the order block system, or just something to watch, not necessarily even a failure. But right now we're in order block 3. It still has 87% remaining. It's right now we are below the price. So the price is actually, right at that line there. So it's 46 cents below the order block. But what I want to point out is this little guy right here. This is an area, and an order block was created and then disappeared because price and everything went through it. But one thing I have noticed in a few tickers when we've been testing this is this price level here becomes an area for it to return to. And if we draw a line across, I just drew the simple price line here. Look at the interaction that it had with that price level again. Came down, it blew through it, but then it held there again, dropped all the way down, hit this order block. We saw rejection, but then again, it bounced off again, came all the way over to here. And even though this order block has been eliminated, what it was trying to tell us is there's price activity at that 260 level on Apple. Both support and resistance. That level is a key level for Apple. And that's something that I've seen on several of these. EMBJ, Embraer, same thing. Look at this. This order block right here. Look what happened right there. When we carry these forward, these little itty bitty ones, it's trying to tell us something. Order blocks will tell you everything you need to know, truly. In this case, there's no way to carry this forward in the code because it has been completely eliminated and closed out. But when we look at the small ones like this that are just kind of hanging there, it's worthwhile to draw a little line and take a look and see what happens. Embraer had a hard rejection off of that. I wish I'd caught it, a day before, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
but something to watch. But this is something where I'm hoping this next iteration is going to be a lot more dynamic and help a lot of people out. Mm-hmm. The other thing I will add is the super trend indicator. I've already got it integrated into it as far as a feature. I don't have it up on the screen, Joe. It's fine.
Okay.
We now have a countdown ticker that is adjustable in that for earnings. So if you have earnings coming up, you can set it for whatever you want. So you can set it for, tell me in 7 days, give me a red flag when earnings come up, or a week or a month, whatever it works for you. I built that into the super trend right now. Where I'm at is I have to take all of this code from this order block system and roll it into the brand new super trend indicator. That's what we've got to do now. And I'm hoping to have it done by the weekend.
Yeah. Now, once you do send that code out, how do folks get it?
We will have it linked, as we were just talking about, inside the FAQ section in the Discord under the Thinkorswim. And I'll probably, when I do it, I'll probably throw some links out in the general and some other places to get some visibility for everybody. But yeah, we will get it out there. This is a work of love. This is 100% done by me on my time. So, be patient. If there's glitches, please let me know. I've tried to get it out to several people behind the scenes just to test and figure everything out. But I think we've got a pretty solid working version now that is a next level type of analysis for order blocks.
Yeah,
it is very code intensive to get the order block depth, as I'm calling it. Mm-hmm. But we got it working. I think
this is really cool, Dave, and it's really exciting. I can tell how passionate you are about it because we have now gone over 10 minutes. So
yes, we have.
What I need you to do though is myself and about 5 other people have messaged. We need to see how to walk a trade. Can you show us how to do that?
How to what a trade?
How to walk in pricing.
I wish I could.
Oh, okay.
I actually, when I was saying that, off screen, I tested real quick to see if I could do it. It's one thing you cannot do in paper trading, but let me show you. Go ahead and share my screen. Let me show you where the feature is found, and it's called a walk limit order.
I think you're going to have to reshare your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. I turned it off a moment ago.
If you want, we can do this at the next session too. I don't want to put you on.
I can share it right now. It's not a problem. So I just clicked to buy Google because I happen to have it up on the screen here. When you do a walk limit, you are going to come over here to the order type. You're going to click this, and you're going to have a choice. And I think it sits down around here, about halfway down, and it is a walk limit. Now, what that walk limit is going to do is it is going to grab the bid. I can't see through my camera here. It's going to grab the bid price and the ask price, and it is going to ask you what gap you want. So is it going to be a penny? Is it going to be 5 cents? And what interval do you want? So it will go through and it will start at the bid, and it'll just keep submitting and changing the order until it finally hits. So in theory, you are getting the best possible fill in that moment of time. Now, for me, I've used it on the ones that I can adjust by a single penny. What I don't want to do is do Google where my choices are 5-cent increments, just because, for this, I'd rather tweak it because I'd rather come in here and go, okay, no, I want to try it at 22 cents and then I want 23 because I'm cheap. I want to try to get, everything that I can, out of that in that moment. But it does work well. It theoretically gives you the best possible price in the moment, and, set it for 5-second intervals. It'll just keep submitting. And then each time it just incrementally moves you up just ever so slightly in the price until it hits. So can you get a bad fill? Depends on the level of activity in the options chain in that moment. Can you get a good fill? Absolutely.
Right. Well, Dave, awesome. Like I said, we went over here. We're pushing into the 12-minute mark. So very, very exciting to see these new updates that are going to be coming out and all these changes of order blocks. But also great to see how Thinkorswim can be used along someone's journey who wants to study Outlier, and how to see how these tools kind of marry up and which tool performs which function. It's great. You know, Outlier gives you signals, and it's very, very good at giving you signals. But then you need to trade them, right? You have to have some broker that has a platform that allows you to trade. Thinkorswim being the tool used for Charles Schwab, and unless I guess you're going to use their website, which that's not what I'm going to do. No way.
No. I have to use a website for my wife's account only because I can't get it tied into my desktop system. But again, I already know what I'm buying when I go in there. I've already done the research. It's already in my account. I'm not putting her into something I'm not already in. So awesome, Dave. Well,
it's been great, and I know we're going to do another one because we have questions here that we're going to try to pick up in the next session. Usually we're on like a 2-week cycle. We'll see how it goes, and we'll post it when we have decided the content and pick our date.
Absolutely. And hopefully for the next session, I'll throw it out right now because I have a timeline then. Hopefully we get the new super trend indicator and the new order blocks, everything out for everybody, and we can walk everybody through how to set it up. I build everything so it's very customizable for your trading style. So it's not meant to be a my indicator. Mine look very different. It's meant to be usable for the masses, and that's what we want. I want everybody to do it. And whether you use Thinkorswim or Tradier or Tradingview or Fidelity or anything else, take the time, get comfortable with your platform. You know, every platform offers something different. I just like Thinkorswim because of the horsepower behind it. But, you know, they're all amazing. They can all do great things. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, last parting message. Let's give a like and a hype on the video. And it really helps.
Absolutely.
All right, Dave, I'll see you at the next one. See you later, Outliers.
Take care, everyone. Happy trading.